Deep in the heart of the jungle, where ancient trees stretch toward the sky and a thick mist clings to the earth, something stirs. The air is heavy, charged with an eerie stillness, as if the entire jungle is holding its breath. A distant rustling breaks the silence, followed by a deep, guttural growl that vibrates through the trees. Some say it is a guardian, a protector of the land, watching over the creatures of the wild. Others whisper a different story, a nightmare that lurks in the shadows, stalking those who dare trespass into its domain. The villagers speak of glowing eyes piercing through the darkness, of an enormous figure moving silently between the trees, its presence felt long before it is seen. Some claim to have been spared by it, their lives inexplicably untouched, while others have vanished without a trace, leaving behind only rumors and fear. A hunter once swore he heard its breath just behind him, hot and slow, before he turned to find nothing but the rustling leaves. The jungle holds its secrets well, but one thing remains certain: whatever watches from the shadows is neither myth nor mere beast. It is something far greater. The question is, when the guardian gorilla finally steps into the light, will it reveal itself as a savior or a nightmare unleashed? Legends have echoed through the jungle for generations, whispered from one traveler to another, carried on the wind like secrets never meant to be told. The story of the guardian gorilla is one of mystery, power, and fear. Some say it has existed for centuries, an ancient protector born from the very heart of the jungle, bound to its survival like the roots that weave beneath the earth. It is said that long ago, when the first men dared to claim the land as their own, the beast emerged, not as a mindless predator, but as a guardian, fierce and intelligent, ensuring that no harm befell the wilderness it called home. The elders speak of encounters passed down through time. A lost child, separated from his village, found his way back home days later, unharmed, his small footprints alongside those of something far larger. When asked what had guided him, he only spoke of a great shadow that watched from the trees, always near but never close enough to touch. Others recall a time when the jungle faced destruction at the hands of men with axes and fire. The workers claimed to hear unnatural sounds, branches snapping without cause, deep growls vibrating through the air, unseen eyes watching them from the darkness. Then, one by one, their camps were destroyed in the night, their tools shattered, their paths blocked by fallen trees. They fled, leaving the land untouched, and the jungle grew wild once more. Yet, not all stories speak of kindness. There are those who believe the guardian gorilla is no savior, but a vengeful force, punishing those who enter its domain. Some tell of hunters who never returned, their final cries swallowed by the thick jungle canopy. A poacher once boasted of tracking the beast, confident he would claim it as his prize. Days later, his torn equipment was found near the riverbank, his footprints ending abruptly as though he had vanished into thin air. His name became just another ghost in the long, whispered history of the jungle. Even today, explorers claim to have seen glimpses of it, an enormous silhouette against the rising mist, the rustling of leaves where no wind blows, the feeling of being watched by something unseen. Some call it a legend, a tale crafted by fear and superstition. Others believe it is real, a living force that remains hidden, waiting, protecting, warning. But whether the guardian gorilla is a benevolent protector or a nightmare that hunts in silence remains a question no one dares to answer. The jungle is filled with stories, but some come not from ancient legends, but from those who claim to have seen the guardian gorilla with their own eyes. These encounters are whispered in hushed voices, shared only by those who believe, those who have felt its presence lingering just beyond sight. Some tell of miraculous escapes, where the beast appeared not as a monster, but as a silent protector. Others recall moments of terror, where it was not the jungle they feared, but what lurked within it. A traveler once found himself lost deep in the wilderness, his map useless against the endless maze of towering trees. As night fell, the sounds of the jungle grew louder. Crickets chirping, unseen creatures stirring in the underbrush, the distant howl of a predator on the hunt. Then, everything went silent. Not a single bird, not a single leaf moved. The traveler swore he felt something watching him, something close, something massive. His breath caught in his throat as he turned and saw it. A towering figure, its broad chest rising and falling with slow, deliberate breaths, its eyes reflecting the faintest glimmer of moonlight. It did not move, did not charge, did not attack. It only watched. Minutes passed, or perhaps only seconds, before the figure disappeared into the trees. The next morning, the traveler found his way back to the river, as if the jungle itself had guided him home. But not all encounters end in relief. A farmer, living on the edge of the forest, woke one morning to find his livestock missing. The pens, once secure, had been torn apart, the ground littered with deep footprints far too large to be human. At first, he thought it was a predator, perhaps a jaguar or a rogue elephant, but then he saw the trees. Great claw marks slashed through the bark, as if something had left a warning. The villagers whispered that he had angered the guardian, that he had taken too much from the land without giving back. Afraid, the farmer abandoned his home, leaving behind only an empty house, swallowed by vines. A poacher, more daring than the rest, believed the stories were nothing more than superstition. He set out one night, determined to track the creature and prove that it was just another animal, something that could be hunted, captured, controlled. His fellow hunters waited for him to return. He never did. Days later, his bag was found near a stream, its contents scattered, his rifle bent as if it had been crushed by a force beyond human strength. There was no blood, no sign of struggle, only silence. The jungle had taken him, and no one dared to ask why. Each encounter adds to the mystery, painting a picture of a creature that is neither fully hero nor villain. It does not kill without reason, nor does it show itself without purpose. But whether it is a guardian or a force to be feared depends on who tells the story and who lives to tell it. Some believe the guardian gorilla is nothing more than a legend, a story crafted by fear and imagination. Others insist that something lurks in the jungle, something real, something powerful. But what does science say? Could such a creature truly exist, hidden away from the world, evading discovery for centuries? Wildlife biologists argue that while gorillas are known for their intelligence and strength, no species recorded matches the descriptions given by witnesses. Gorillas do not grow as large as the towering figure described in the stories, nor do they typically display the almost supernatural abilities attributed to the guardian. And yet the jungle is vast, filled with secrets, and history has proven that new species can remain undiscovered for centuries. Some experts speculate that if the creature is real, it could be a remnant of an ancient lineage, an undiscovered primate with extraordinary adaptations that allow it to blend into its surroundings, remaining unseen except in rare and fleeting moments. Others take a different approach, looking beyond science to the cultural significance of the legend. In many indigenous traditions, the guardian gorilla is not simply an animal, but a spirit, an entity that exists between worlds, neither fully beast nor fully myth. Local shamans believe it is a protector of balance, an ancient force awakened only when the jungle is threatened. Some claim that those who respect the land will never be harmed, while those who take too much will face its wrath. Whether this belief is rooted in truth or symbolism, it has shaped the way generations have viewed the jungle, not as a place to conquer, but as a living, breathing entity with its own unseen rulers. Conservationists see the legend in a different light. To them, the guardian gorilla is not a monster or a spirit, but a symbol of nature's resistance. As deforestation and illegal hunting continue to destroy the rainforest, stories of the beast serve as a warning. Perhaps it is not a single creature, but rather the jungle itself, fighting back in ways we do not fully understand. Mysterious disappearances, eerie sounds, unsettling encounters. Could they be the result of a lone survivor, the last of an ancient species trying to protect its home? Or are they simply the jungle's way of reminding us that not everything can be explained? The debate rages on with no clear answers. Science searches for evidence, folklore clings to belief, and those who have seen the creature firsthand are left with only one truth. Something is out there. Whether it is a legend, a protector, or something far more terrifying remains a mystery that no one has yet been able to solve. For years, the stories remained just that: whispers, legends, tales told around fires. But then came the event that changed everything. A team of explorers, seasoned and prepared, set out into the heart of the jungle, determined to separate myth from reality. Equipped with cameras, tracking devices, and the latest technology, they believed they would return with answers. Instead, they vanished. Days passed with no word, no signal, no sign of life. Rescue teams were sent into the dense wilderness, following the coordinates of their last known location. What they found raised more questions than answers. Their camp was abandoned, torn apart as if something had moved through it with incredible force. Supplies were scattered, tents shredded, yet there were no signs of a struggle, no blood, no footprints leading away. It was as if they had disappeared into thin air. Then they found the camera. The footage was damaged, the last moments fragmented and distorted, but what remained was enough to send chills through even the most skeptical minds. The video started like any other. Explorers speaking in hushed voices, navigating through the thick brush, pointing out broken branches and deep claw marks in the trees. Then, as night fell, the atmosphere changed. The jungle, once alive with the sounds of insects and birds, fell silent. Heavy breathing could be heard, but it was not coming from the explorers. One of them whispered, "Something's watching us." The footage turned chaotic. Flashes of movement, panicked breathing, the sound of leaves crunching underfoot. A sudden, guttural growl, deep and resonant, shook the audio. The camera turned wildly, capturing a fleeting glimpse of something enormous. Broad shoulders, dark fur, glowing eyes reflecting the light of their torches. Then the screen went black. The last sound recorded was a single, heavy breath. The rescue team found no trace of the explorers, no bodies, no belongings beyond the camera. Only the jungle remained, undisturbed, as if nothing had ever happened. Some dismissed it as an accident, a tragic case of getting lost in unforgiving terrain. Others believed the truth was far more terrifying. Had they encountered the guardian gorilla? And if so, had they been deemed a threat? Or had they simply ventured too deep into a world where they did not belong? The footage was studied, analyzed, debated, but no clear explanation emerged. What was seen in those final moments? A trick of light and shadow, or undeniable proof that something watches from the darkness? Those who believe in the guardian gorilla say this was the ultimate warning. There are places in this world where man is not meant to go, and forces that will ensure that those who do never return. The jungle remains as it always has, vast, untamed, and filled with secrets that may never be uncovered. The stories of the guardian gorilla continue to spread, whispered among villagers, debated by scientists, feared by those who dare venture too deep. But after everything, the sightings, the warnings, the disappearances, one question still lingers. Is it real? Skeptics argue that without concrete evidence, the guardian gorilla is nothing more than folklore, a cautionary tale created to keep outsiders from disturbing the balance of the jungle. Perhaps it is simply an exaggeration of real creatures, misidentified animals, or the tricks of an overactive imagination when surrounded by the dense, isolating wilderness. Fear has a way of shaping what we see, turning shadows into monsters, rustling leaves into unseen predators. Yet, for every skeptic, there is a believer. Too many stories, too many encounters, too many unexplained events to dismiss entirely. Hunters, villagers, explorers, people from different backgrounds, different eras, have all described something eerily similar. A towering figure that moves with intelligence, a force that protects as much as it punishes, a presence that is felt even when unseen. If the guardian gorilla is nothing more than a myth, why do the stories persist? Why do those who enter the jungle alone often return with the same haunted expression, the same lingering feeling that they were never truly alone? Perhaps the real question is not whether it exists, but whether we are meant to find out. Some mysteries are best left unsolved, some legends better left as warnings. The jungle does not need human interference to survive. It has its own laws, its own rulers, its own protectors. And if the guardian gorilla truly roams its depths, watching, waiting, ensuring that the balance remains undisturbed, then perhaps the greatest mistake we can make is to keep searching for something that does not want to be found. In the end, the truth lies within the trees, hidden in the shadows where only the bravest, or the most foolish, dare to go. Whether the guardian gorilla is a protector, a nightmare, or something beyond our understanding, one thing remains certain: the jungle keeps its secrets well, and those who seek them must be prepared for whatever waits in the darkness. The question remains, what do you believe? Is the guardian gorilla a protector, a silent force ensuring the jungle remains untouched? Or is it something far more dangerous, a nightmare lurking in the shadows, waiting for those who stray too far? The evidence is shrouded in mystery, the encounters both awe-inspiring and terrifying. Some call it a spirit, others a legend, and a few insist that it is a living, breathing creature that has outwitted mankind for centuries. But legends don't just appear out of nowhere. Every story has a root, a spark of truth buried beneath layers of fear and folklore. Could it be that deep in the uncharted jungle, beyond where any camera has reached, something watches? Something ancient, powerful, and intelligent enough to remain hidden? If the guardian gorilla exists, then it is not just another animal. It is something more. A ruler of the wild, a force of nature, an untouchable enigma. And if the stories are true, it does not seek to be found. The jungle has always had its guardians. Perhaps this is one of them. Perhaps the warnings, the eerie silence, the feeling of being watched are not mere paranoia, but something very real. The question is, if you were standing at the edge of the jungle, staring into the endless maze of trees, knowing that something was staring back, would you take a step forward? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever heard of a legend like this? Could the guardian gorilla be real? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more mysterious stories, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload. Until next time, stay curious, and be careful where you wander. Some places were never meant to be explored.